And hello again, everybody, and welcome back to a special episode of Forsyth Business Radio. I am your host, Amanda Pearch Marmolejo, joined in studio today for this special episode with CEO and President of the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce, James McCoy. Welcome to the show, James.
Thank you very much.
I am excited because today you and I get to talk a little bit about a creative partnership that we developed over this year. And I want to share with our audience a little bit about how we fit into each other's world. So I will say for those of you just joining us or who don't follow Forsyth Business Radio, we launched the Forsyth arm here in January of last year. And we are here in January of 2023. Now it's been 1 year. And here recently, we relocated the studio into the great Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce building. James was kind enough to make some studio space for us, and now we are actually broadcasting live from the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce. So James, share with our listeners a little bit about the experience that you've had within our partnership. You have a wildly popular series called FOCO Talks. Share with us the mission and focus of that show.
So really, it's the same as the mission of the Chamber. Really, it's to bring the community, broader community, into the work of the Chamber. And we are very focused on the projects and initiatives that drive economic opportunity, that drive chances for people to, foster startups, build better lives in the community. Podcast is being an excellent way of reaching an audience that we may not be reaching otherwise. And it lets us get, to do deeper dives into topics that we don't often get to do deeper dives in, even when we're hosting an event. And a program, you often have to really synopsize everything, and sometimes that works, and sometimes you really lose some meaningful content.
I would agree, and congratulations on the success that you have built thus far. I know we hear a lot of great feedback within the community. We've had some influential speakers. I know that you focus on business leaders who have a common ground, which shares ideas within the development of community-wide initiatives. And we also offer support to emerging businesses that are now making an impact in our community. I think similarly, the message within Business RadioX, we consider ourselves the voice of business. So it's our mission to amplify and promote businesses within the community and the community as a whole. So I think that's kind of where our two roads meet, and we're able to serve in a greater capacity together.
Yeah.
Share with our listeners one of your favorite interview experiences that we've had since we launched FOCO Talks.
So, Forsyth County Schools plays a huge part of in our local economy, and is a huge part of why Forsyth County is such an incredible place to be, and has been for a long time. Our school superintendent, Dr. Jeff Bearden, was a guest, and we explored some things that I had no idea. I've known him for a long time. And known him personally, and there were elements of that I did not know. I had absolutely no idea that his path to becoming a school superintendent started as being a part-time volleyball coach, and he walked us through that story, which really was not just remarkable on a personal level, but also on a professional level, to see his path that led him here, and that was definitely one of those moments. Sitting down with Lynn Jackson, again, somebody I've known for almost 20 years and know on a personal level, and still there were moments in that conversation, particularly talking about the transition that Northside Hospital went through during COVID, the way they answered the community call, some of the things the way that they managed that and led that from their perspective, as well as a community collaborative. It was just amazing to hear that story, and those are some things that certainly I had never heard before. I feel confident people in the community were not aware of, and those are two highlights, at least for me.
I would have to echo that. The episode where Lynn shared her vision and her tenure with Northside was very impactful. Not too long ago, I was at a power networking luncheon, and one of our members actually stood up and made mention of the parallel that she referenced in the podcast. So I was delighted to hear that the message actually traveled that far.
That's great.
Share with our listeners a little bit about the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce history, in case they're just jumping on right now and this might be the first episode that they've heard.
Sure. So we were founded in 1952 by a group of community and business leaders that looked around the region and saw the success that some other communities were having in terms of business growth. And they decided that they wanted to create an organization that would be dedicated to that purpose. And we were founded as an economic development organization. The work to create new business and industry in this community started with that group of people coming together. That's really our story today too. At the heart of it, we're just a group of business and community people coming together for a common purpose, and that purpose being economic prosperity. The organization, has morphed and changed a great deal since 1952, but at the heart of it, we are an economic development organization, and that means that we are focused on, most people think about that as being the recruitment of new business to the community, and certainly that's an element. But primarily, we're focused on working with business people who are here today to grow their dream and grow their business. So, we have a staff of 13 folks. We've got we're the economic development arm of the county through our Forward Forsyth Economic Development Partnership, and that includes the Development Authority, Forsyth County Schools, the Chamber, Lanier Tech, and the University of North Georgia. And we execute with our partnership, the economic development plan that was created 5 years ago that we'll be updating very soon. But more importantly than that is the work that we're doing with existing industry. That is something that is the heart and soul of what we do. It's working with business leaders today and business people today to just help identify what are the challenges that you're having and build solutions around that. And that could be everything from, hey, I just need to meet more customers and clients, to, I'm having a really hard time finding a bookkeeper, to I've got a serious talent pipeline problem, and we can help address all of those.
I must say I've been around the block a few times, James, and I've had the opportunity to experience different chambers of commerce. And the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce is hyper-focused on those entities that you just mentioned. So economic development, workforce development, and really growing the community from the inside out is something that is a major focus for you guys. Anybody out there listening who'd like to learn more about those arms of the chamber that we just mentioned, Forward Forsyth, you can visit forwardforsyth.org. And then for the workforce development arm, you can visit oneforsyth.org, and that's oneforsyth.org. Share a little bit about the success of partnerships with the school systems and the workforce relationship for those who might not be aware of all the things that you guys do behind the scenes to help propel that.
Sure. Well, we were not truly in the workforce development space really until COVID, and one of the things that COVID highlighted to us was the disconnect that existed between the talent pool in our community and business leaders and the businesses who were really looking for them. So during COVID, we had while there were an awful lot of layoffs and our unemployment rate jumped to about 12%, we, through that process, learned there were plenty of employers who were actually looking for people that couldn't find that 12%. So we set about a very basic strategy of taking employers that were looking for people to come execute the work with the unemployed, and also in many cases helping those who are unemployed file for unemployment, get access to those benefits and resources, and help employers who get access to the resources to help retain employees that they currently had, and to make it through the pandemic. And we had some real success with that. I mean, we worked extremely hard to get those resources in the hands of both business people and the folks who were looking for work. And that generated this work that we are doing today. We now have a full-time executive director through a partnership that we have with Forsyth County Schools, Brooke Stahl, who is doing a phenomenal job for us. And we work in close partnership with Forsyth County Schools to do everything from identifying what are the most important things that students need to know as they are going through school in various industries, not from just a technical standpoint, but the soft skills standpoint. For example, right now we help recruit a lot of business folks to come in and do mock interviews with students so that they could have an interview experience before they ever showed up to an employer and know what that's going to be like and help strengthen those skills. And we also work very hard to put more business people in the classroom so that there could be some real-time conversations about what's going on in the industry. And the reverse of that, putting teachers in externships out into working with employers so that they can see what's happening, today, not what happened 5 years ago and what were the industry standards of the last couple of years. All of that is really driving a better pipeline for talent. We're doing the same with Linear Tech. We're doing the same with UNG. All of that trying to identify talent. On the other end of the spectrum, we are working with employers to help identify folks that have been out in the workforce for a little while and may have, either because of COVID or life reasons, found themselves out of work and trying to reconnect them.
That's amazing, James. I tip my hat to you and your team and the community for all of your efforts behind trying to prepare the next generation for success. All right. And James, again, we are thrilled to partner with you and thank you so much for allowing us to utilize this space here in the chamber. I see a lot of opportunity in the future, not only for member benefits, but to help share the message of the impactful organizations and all the initiatives that go on here in the great county of Forsyth that might not have the spotlight on them. What we do here at Business RadioX is we are not traditional media. So if it bleeds, it doesn't lead in our world. We are a B2B network that amplifies the voice of business in our community. So I think that, again, to reiterate, our missions are aligned, therefore creating a synergetic partnership. I am delighted to be the producer of FOCO Talks. For those of you listening, wherever you get your podcasts, it can be iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube. I encourage you to subscribe to FOCO Talks so that you can stay up to date with what's going on here in the county and with the chamber. You can also listen to the archived episodes, including the interviews that James just mentioned with Jeff Bearden and Lynn Jackson. And also, we just recently did one on the MLK Day of Service. So I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as well. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a guest that you'd like to nominate to be on a show, an influential leader, or if you have a topic of discussion that you might like us to entertain, email me. James, I'm going to leave you with the final note. Anything you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, we're thrilled to have this opportunity to partner with Business RadioX. Our missions are really very much aligned, and we're proud to have you guys in our space and in this our offices. And I think it brings there's a lot of opportunity with that, and so we're excited about it, and I hope other folks will really engage with this and really jump in both feet to really embrace this.
Very nice. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for listening. And you can catch FOCO Talks once monthly, and you are able to access all episodes on ForsythBusinessRadioX.com and select FOCO Talks. But there again, please subscribe so that you can enjoy those episodes past, future, and present. You are now listening to Forsyth Business Radio. I'd love if you subscribe to us as well so that you can enjoy our series, and that's Forsyth Business Radio, wherever you get your podcasts. For our guest and the president and CEO of the Forsyth County Chamber of Commerce, James McCoy, I have been your host, Amanda Pearch Marmolejo, Forsyth Business Radio.